This is Keith here.
And I'm Carol.
And we want to welcome you to our Love Jones podcast. So today's topic is who wears the pants. So it's a very intense conversation. We were having a conversation earlier about it, and we want to kind of throw in, the dynamic of where our marriage is located, what we're doing and everything, and then also talk about it from the aspect of where you possibly could be in the aspect of who wears the pants. Now, that being said, we have so many different aspects of marriages and relationships because every marriage is not a cookie cutter marriage. Mm-hmm. So you have some men, as my wife explained in our dialogue. As a matter of fact, explain that kind of what you were talking about, the pants, the difference between the gauchos, the pants, the gauchos, and the shorts.
Culottes.
The culottes. Okay, the culottes.
There's pants. So it's regular pants, slacks. Goodness. There are culottes. And if anyone knows, that's the pants that come, they stop just a little under your knee, but they don't go to the ankle. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're shorts, and then there's the skirt. So if you look at it from the traditional sense, which we should, the man should wear the pants, the woman is in the skirt, because that denotes who we are as far as our gender.
So check this out. So are you saying that the way you want to reference this is that each man is representation of the pants? Or the different, like the culottes, the cookies. Okay.
Well, no, each man is the pants, but it's according to how the man runs his household. So if a man is trying, there's the guy that's trying. He's trying. Bless his heart. He's trying, but he's falling short. So let's give him the culottes, right? And then there's the guy who plays games, or he's out most of the time, never present with the children, otherwise
just missing all the way around,
like in the house, and completely invisible, so many different things, and he's not doing anything close to what he's supposed to be doing,
and all the weight is falling on the wife.
And she's exhausted, and she's trying to tell him over and over and over, I need your help, babe, please pay some attention to me, or please help me with the children, or hey, can you come out the room for a minute and just like give me a break. And so that's the guy in the shorts. And then there's the skirt, which we should be wearing.
He's totally missing.
But if a guy's not wearing his pants, and he's not wearing culottes, and he's not wearing shorts, he's in a skirt. And then the skirt, he's basically not there at all. They literally are married in name only.
And so now the wife is wearing the pants and the man's wearing the skirt.
Yeah.
So
or the culottes.
Or the culottes.
Or the gauchos.
Or the gauchos.
Just according to who. Just according to where they are on the scale. And I don't want to seem like this is, a male bash, because it's not, because trust me, we got stuff for the women, because I think that it's absolutely unfair for women to come roaring into a marriage or a relationship with all of their neck rolling baggage, control issues and everything, because
how y'all
domineering,
you know how y'all
because that's what you saw, or that's either that's how your mom was, your grandma, you saw it somewhere. And so a lot of times you scare the man out of his pants. So I don't want it to seem like the men are just doing nothing, because we have to take some accountability, too.
So okay, check this out. So you said scare the man out of his pants.
Oh my God. Oh.
Okay, so let's be honest though. We have a lot of men that are scared. We have a lot of men that are scared out of their pants. They're scared out of the wigs because the responsibilities of upholding that position of being a husband, being a father, being the leader of the home, or what have you, goes back to the aspect of what we talked about in the conversation prior to doing our Love Jones. Okay. So it goes back to how that person was raised. So you have either one or two mix of the situation. Okay, I'm gonna break it down, and then baby, you just chime in and just go from there. Okay, so like myself, okay, I put it as the aspect that I was raised with both parents in the house. I had a stepfather that showed me some things, but he didn't show me everything. Okay, so he showed me how to cut the grass. He showed me how to take care of the dogs. He showed me how to do certain things or whatever. He was a mechanic on the side, learned how to change the brakes on my mom's car, on his car, change the oil, had a tool set, did all that kind of stuff. Then, he did it.
Oh, I was gonna say, because you never did
that. No, trust me. I mean, I know some things because I had to learn on my own, but he never showed me. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes,
then
sir.
here's the other thing. He would every month. I saw him sit at the dinner table and pay bills, but he never showed me that. So growing up, there was some things that I was hindered in, you know, from the aspect of now becoming in my adulthood that I was missing as a man to be able to completely wear the pants. And so I think the same thing for, you know, for the ladies is that, you know, some of you have been in situations where you maybe have been raised by a single mom. She had to be the mom and the father. She was very dominant. And so you learned that from her. So now you're going into a marriage where now a man is trying to be a man. He may be struggling in that area, but then you see that, oh, it just needs to be done. But not realizing that you're actually putting on the pants. So the woman now has come to, you know, from a background situation, maybe possibly where she saw, like you were telling me that your aunt sis was very independent, and you learned a lot of that from her. So now that in somewhat may have affected you, but at the same time, it doesn't make it right. I think it's just history.
Aunt sis, she did not have a husband.
True.
So I watched this woman go to work every day. I watched her buy her own car. She taught herself how to drive. She paid off her house all by herself, no help. Never had a husband. So I grew up under that as far as her being fiercely independent, managing her money, taking care of herself. Right. But I also was brought up with my grandmother, my mother, and my grandmother was married. My mother wasn't married. But my grandmother and my mom taught, and my aunt sis, they taught me how to cook. They taught me how to clean. My grandmother taught me how to take care of a house. She told me how I should take care of my husband and my children. So I had all of those in one place. So I think that that's probably what saved me, and I got by on the skin of my teeth of not being this domineering. Just don't let you have any say or do anything.
But what happens? But what about the wife now that's in a marriage that didn't learn the both aspects? What about that woman? What about that woman that just learned from a single mom and was like, you know, you handle your business, you know, girl, you know, you new girl, you know, whatever, you know, that kind of a thing. And so now she's at an aspect of taking what she learned, you know, from her teen years or however, and then mixing that into a marriage and not realizing, okay, I have a man in my life that I have to allow him to lead. That's one aspect. And then here's the other aspect. Be honest, we got a lot of weak men though.
Yes, we do. And so in that, as far as the woman that did not get that, you have to see what's not working in your relationship. Because we can't continue to ride and skate by on how my childhood was. Because if we continue to say, well, because that happened in my childhood, that's why I'm this way now in my marriage, or that's why I'm the mother that I am, or the father. No, I get it. But we have to get to a place where we decide that it happened to me. I saw it. Yeah. I didn't like it. I wasn't thrilled about it. So now what do I do? So then we get to make up in our minds and make a decision that we're not going to be that way. So if you saw a very overbearing mother, or you were, you know, in a household and maybe you had mom and dad there, but your mother was running that show. She was popping dad around, or dad was just that really mealy mouth, didn't say much and doesn't sit over on the sofa or in his chair and just let her run amok, and that's what you saw. I pray that you know now that that is an absolute upside down incorrect picture of marriage. God did not ordain it that way. So now what you have to do is be intentional with change. And the first change, I believe, comes in communication. Talk to your spouse, talk to your mate, and say, how do you see me? Or do you think I'm controlling or overbearing? Do you think I wear the pants? Do you think I take that authority from you? Because what I have found out too is there are a lot of women that do that, and they have conditioned themselves and done it so long that they condition themselves that he doesn't want her to do anything else but be dominant and run everything. Oh, my husband's fine with that. He likes that. That's okay.
Well, that comes in the point of what I was talking about, just
and he should say
the other
it's not
aspect.
Okay.
It's not okay. It's being lazy. We got a lot of weak men. We got a lot of lazy men. Now, guys, I'm with you. You know, I mean, I'm right there for you. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we got to be real with ourselves. that at some point we do have in this next, what you say, Z generation or X generation or whatever generation is coming up behind us, we have a lot of men that don't know how to be the men that God has called us to be in our marriage, in our relationship, and lead. So we have men that are uncertain. We have men that are insecure. We have men that don't know how to lead. So now the family is in disarray because now who's wearing the pants? The wife is wearing the pants because maybe she was educated. Maybe she was in a home that she did have both parents, but then the man didn't. Maybe he had a single mom, different things like that, or his dad wasn't in his life. So there are so many things across the board where, that's the reason why you have all these different marriages. And that's the reason why it's very important that, we got to plug this premarital counseling. You have to have that counsel. You got to have it. You got to do it. And so I think that when it comes to the mix of this and marriage, who's wearing the pants and who's leading the family or whatever, it should be God, the husband, the wife, and the family in that order. And then Ephesians, I really don't like going here, but I just, for the sake of the conversation, it was hard not to bring the Bible into it because we really don't try to do that. But just for the small segment, Ephesians 5 talks about that. So read Ephesians 5, where it talks about that the wife should be submissive to the husband. Now, the word submissive doesn't mean control. It means order. So as us being in order, God has put the marriage and the love that the family should have, and that's in order. He's first, the man is first, the woman is second, and then the family. So if we're out of order, we're taking God's order completely and dismantling what he had ordained for marriage. Am I right? So what we have to do is we have to ask the question in our relationship, who's wearing the pants? And then what kind of pants you got on? You know what I'm saying? You got to ask that question. And so if we're coming up short, you got to ask yourself, men, you got to ask yourself, and this is, once again, this is not bashing the men or anything. And then, ladies, this is not bashing you. You have to ask yourself the question, what is it that I need to do to either push my man and push my husband into the leadership role that he needs to do? Or what is it that I need to do to step back? Because if you're still in that mode of when you were taught, as my wife was saying, with her incest and different things like that, and you have taken that into your adulthood, into your marriage, you're hindering your marriage. You're belittling your husband, and you don't want to do that. And then men, we got to step up. We got to pay attention to the details. We got to communicate, because that's what one of the things we were talking about is, as I know for me, I like to internalize. I like to say, if we need to get this done, I'm saying it in my mind. I'm turning it in my mind. I'm like, okay, I got to get this, get this done, get this handled. This is the day I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm saying it within my mind. But the problem is I'm not saying it to her. And so what happens, so this is the flip. So what happens, she says, babe, we need to get this done. I was like, okay, we need to get it done. But I don't tell her, okay, I'm going to do it on this day. I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to handle the situation. So what happens? She sees that I'm not doing it. So what happens, because I know who my wife is, my wife likes to get things done. That's wonderful. That's beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So if you have a wife that likes to get things done, great. You should applaud her. You should be saying thank you.
Sarcastic.
No, I'm not. You should applaud her. You should thank you and have accolades for her, because all she's trying to do is be that. See, I'm about to give you some accolades. She's trying to be accolades. I'm trying to give you some props. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So what I'm trying to do is, she's being that Proverbs 31 wife, okay? And most women don't know how to do that. They don't know how to arrange things in their house and do things with their hands and make their house a home. So that's all my wife is trying to do. So a lot of times, in the mix of things, it seems sometimes like we're switching around and different things like that. But I know that's not the case. She's not trying to wear the pants.
You are so trying to act. You're trying to subtly say, you wear the pants sometimes.
No, I'm not saying that.
Anybody pick that up in their spirit?
Disclaimer, don't believe that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there are times that in the aspect of the things that we do as husband and wife, okay, I realize okay, even after this conversation and even the pre-conversation that we had before podcast, I realized that all you're trying to do is you're trying to make sure that the balance of our home is good. That's it. You see something done, you're like, babe, let's get that done. Or babe, you see this, babe, you see that, or what have you. So then I said, babe, instead of telling me, well, babe, we got to do this, why don't you ask me, babe, you got a plan? What's your plan? You're going to get that done? You're going to get that done or whatever. Then the other aspect of what I have to do is I have to communicate what my plan is. So it's on me too. So in the aspect of what we're talking about, it's not just one or the other. It's both.
But I think that you got to take accountability for the fact that if we discuss something got to get done. Now, I've said this before. Babe, this is yours, the inside. I'm the outside, right? So if I'm asking you to do something outside, like put out the furniture, put the furniture out back.
Are you going with the furniture?
It's just real quick. I'm not going to tell the whole thing.
God.
If I'm asking you to put the furniture out back and it's still not out there, and I don't care about having a plan, you tell me, babe, you know what? I was thinking of putting that furniture out in December as opposed to April or something like that. And so tell me that.
I agree.
And don't say that I should ask you, do you have a plan?
No, I agree. I think that it's both. I think that it should be both plans. I think that if the history shows itself that I've always taken care of the yard, I've always taken care of outside, I've always done the necessary things to take care of everything outside of the house, and my history has shown that I'm capable of doing that, then if nothing else, if you're curious to say, hey, you haven't communicated to me what's going on, babe, so what's happening? Then okay, great. I should be able to tell, I should be able to answer her question. But at the same time, I should be able to tell you my plan without you asking.
Exactly. Because how would you like it if tomorrow you said, but I don't tell you it's time for dinner and you come up hungry. And I said, well, you didn't ask me, did I have a plan for dinner? Because if that's what I do, then that's what I do.
I know that. I just said I get it. I got to communicate it as well. So it's on both sides. Man.
All right.
It's on both sides. I take it.
Okay.
I take it. I take it on the job. I say that all the time. So where we're going with this is you have to ask the question in your marriage: who is really wearing the pants?
And I think you're just not talking about it.
You think they really know?
I think they know.
I know.
I think a brother knows when his pants start flooding.
Oh my God, that was her. That was funny.
I think a brother knows when his pants start flooding because.
Oh my God. That was funny. That was funny.
It's like that's the first.
We didn't talk about that in the.
That's the first thing that you see a little sign or something, and the wife is sitting there like, I know this guy didn't just do whatever. Your pants done start flooding, bro, because that's where whatever thing you should be doing as a man and the head of that house, and then you start slipping back, you start flooding.
You got the Michael Jackson.
Here we go, and we look up about 3, 4, 5 years in. Now you culotte, and culottes are not cool.
And you working up to the shorts.
Yeah, so it's like your ashy ankles, everything's showing because you got these culottes, and so that means you have slowly began to pull back on a lot of the things that you're supposed to do as the head and as the man.
Okay, so we didn't hit the men, but check this out. Ladies, you have to force your man to lead.
I don't want no man. I got to force.
You know what I'm saying? You got to hold. Okay, let me rephrase. You have to hold him accountable. Okay? Because my wife holds me accountable. You know what I'm saying? She'll tell me, babe, you didn't do this right, or
and he does
not
whatever. Like it half
no,
the time.
No.
I said half.
Come on, you got to give me at least 70%.
That you don't like it, okay?
No, that I
no,
accept
that's why
it.
I said you don't like it half of the time. Get your percentage.
No,
right.
give me 70% that I take it, and then 30% that I don't. You got to give me that.
60-40.
No, give me 65.
61 3/4.
Listen, I take it on the job. Okay, I do.
He will. When he takes it, he does. You take it very well when you take it.
You know, when she tells me, babe, you know, I slipped up, you know, in my leadership or things that I need to do or whatever. And there's times that she doesn't even have to hold me accountable. You know, there was our event, our move and different things that happened last year. Remember that? I completely took the reins. I said, babe, you know, I got it. I took it, you know, did everything we were supposed to do, how we handled everything, what have you. And I took the reins. And that's I think that when we come to that aspect, it brings, check this out. This is the blessing that is going to help you. It brings the security that your wife needs. It brings the security that your wife needs. Now, are we going to be on it all the time? No. Are we going to hit the mark every time? No. Are we going to hit a home run every time? No. Are we going to hit the buzzer beater every time? No, guys. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Buzzer beater.
A buzzer beater is like when you hit the last minute shot at the end of the game and you win the game. Okay. There's like Kobe, sometimes, you know, I'm just saying.
We don't go that deep.
It's just an analogy. Okay, anyway, so the thing of it is that guys, we're not going to be 100 all the time. No. But we have to make the effort. I think that's what we got to do. And then ladies, it's okay to, you know, coach your husband, hold him accountable, let him know, hey, you take the lead. Or say, nope, I'm not making a decision on that. You got to make the decision. Force him to do what he needs to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not to the point that you just want to take the reins because if it, I'm just going to get it done. I'm tired of talking. I'm going to do blah, 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 what? No, have the conversation. There's times that we do have the conversation. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's kind of like we're holding each other accountable. But at the same time, you have to have the conversation.
But I think the biggest conversation is why? Why do we have to get to that space? Why do we have to say, babe, can you do it? Can you do it? And then you don't do it, or you take your time doing it. Because you just said, you know, forcing to do it. I don't think there's any woman out there that wants to force their man to lead. Now, unfortunately, as my daughter says, we get bamboozled sometimes, right? In the dating thing. Because you date the guy, he is everything, he's doing everything, and he says, let's get married. And you're like, well, yes, and you done told everybody, he is wonderful, he does everything. And the second they say I do, everything shifts. And the guy that was so attentive and doing everything for her and leading and paying for everything, every time you went out on a date, he paid for everything, he opened the car door, he did everything. Now a brother is like coming home with McDonald's and he only got one hamburger. And she's sitting there like, this guy. And it's because he bamboozled you. He's not the guy that he was when he was trying to hook up with you. So some of us do fall in that place of, I got bamboozled. Then some of us fall in the place of, he's exactly who he said he was. And we didn't see that when we were dating because we had the blinders of love and the heart emojis around our eyes and everything.
Well,
and so,
what about the ladies though?
Oh, I agree. I think that we have ladies have an uncanny ability of making it seem like it's more than it is. And I have said all the time, however you start is how you finish. So it's kind of like when the man meets this girl that's just fantastically beautiful. And he takes her out and he's so smitten with her. He's incredibly attracted to her and they fall in love. And then the first time he sees her in the morning, all of a sudden the shoulder length hair is like it's like patches, like hair's missing, or, you know, she has absolutely no eyebrows and eyelashes. He's like, what happened? Well, I've been drawing those suckers on, or these are fake eyelashes or whatever. So, you know, we do those things, right? And we all kind of get fooled. I have had people say that. Like,
oh, but that was never our experience.
No.
Okay.
No.
But at the same time.
But I'm saying we can bamboozle each other in so many different ways. And so, unfortunately, in the bamboozlement of it all, you think that you're with someone that is going to take the lead, that's going to give you all the things that they said they would. And then when you get really deep into the relationship, that's when you start seeing.
Yeah, so
it's not
what you
said it was.
So like you were saying at the beginning, you know, the woman can, you know, the one that he's dating, you know, she's all cool and submissive and everything, and then all of a sudden things change.
Everything changed.
You know, as Eddie Murphy said, I'm mad now. So, you know, all of a sudden things change.
But that's what I was alluding to when you interrupted. I'm sorry. I know I was going around Uncle John's barn.
Yeah, that was what I was.
No, because what I was saying was, like the patches, like she has transformed. She lets him see exactly what she wants him to see when the dating phase is going on. Then all the real stuff comes out later. So I think that every man, just like every woman, I think we would all love to see who you are authentically from the beginning, because that helps me make a better decision.
I agree.
Right? If you tell me, listen, I'm kind of a punk, and I don't like to lead, and I'm scared of stuff. Then bye, honey.
But
thanks for that date.
But who's gonna really step up and say?
But it would be nice if they would.
That like I'm kind of
I'm a henpeck or something.
Somebody, a lot of guys and a lot of people are not gonna be honest with that. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm just be real. They're just not.
Well, there's other ways they can say it.
Okay.
And so let me tell you this, ladies that are dating. This is how you find out if he's henpecked or he's a punk or he struggles with leading or taking accountability or anything. You begin to ask him questions about his childhood. It's just that simple. You ask him about his dad, and don't just ask, was your dad around? Was your dad in the house with you? Were you raised with your dad and your mother? Ask him what his dad taught him. Start going there. If his dad is married, ask him, well, how's your dad's marriage? Start asking those questions, because that's a good way to find out who you're dealing with. If he's not going to tell you, because if he says, my dad's been divorced 4 times, or my dad wasn't in the house, or my dad was there, but my dad was in and out, and we saw him 3 times a year, then that's when you got to start really investigating, because those are some red flags.
So check this out. Okay, we're about to come to the conclusion of our podcast. So I think I have a few things I think that can help us out. Okay, so check this out.
He's basically telling me to shut up.
That's not true. Okay, so but we got to close it down.
Okay,
we got to close it down. Okay, I believe that if you're currently in a marriage in a situation where the pants are being shifted around, okay, this is something that I think that can help you. My recommendation is get into something where you have accountability partners. If it's some other men, that are truly leading their home, wives, get into a circle where you're having women that understand how to be that Proverbs wife. So that's 1. 2, if you have a ministry that has a men's ministry or a women's ministry, get into those ministries, because those ministries really, really focus on the aspects of men being men, women being men, and women, and then bringing those things together. And then the other thing, if there's a marriage ministry or something like that, have couples, have a round table, talk about these issues among all of your friends, because you'd be surprised that either there are going to be similarities or differences, but in the differences is what's really going to bring out the good topic. So if you do those 3 things, I guarantee, even down to this podcast, share it with somebody, have a dialogue, make some comments on our YouTube page as far as all the topics that we're talking about, and this particular topic especially, because you have to determine who is wearing the pants.
But it has to be the man.
It has to be the man.
And you can't flood at it.
All right.
Just wear the pants.
Wear the pants.
Nope. And if you start flooding,
what's the cool out?
Let's work on going to the alteration shop, which is like he said. So just think of it like that.
Yeah, you got
men's ministry. Start talking to people that you think are in now I don't say think, but people that you see are in a really healthy marriage.
That that are prospering, that are successful.
So because there is no perfect marriage, but a good marriage is great. So you start talking to people like that. So you're altering, what's happening. And women, I want you to really, really look at yourselves and do a self-analysis and say, you know what, I am wearing the pants around here. I do, make the decisions, and I'm also dominating my husband, and that's not good. And men, I just want to really challenge you to don't put us in a place to have to put the pants on.
Right. Men, you gotta step up.
Big. You gotta step up. Please don't put us in a space that we have to wear your pants.
You gotta step up.
Because we don't want to do it. Women don't want to take the head and do what the man is supposed to do. That's the whole purpose why we get married. Yeah. Is we fall in love, but we want that person to support us and to protect us and everything.
Take care of you
and when you're not doing that, if you think about it, Eve never would have done anything with the
She
with the
never
serpent
would've- she
if
never-
Adam had been right
If
there
Adam was
protecting her.
protecting her and taking
So
care
had he
of her.
protected her, she wouldn't have done that.
And told her about the fruit.
Yeah,
So you got communication. All right. So listen, thank you for watching. We want you to subscribe to our page. Go back over all of our other episodes. Check those things out. Make comments. And we just want to say thank you for watching our podcast. And we'll see you next time right here on Love Jones.
Bye.
Hi everybody, thank you for watching this episode. We want to see your likes and your comments on this video. Also, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss anything we've got going on or any of our next episodes. So we'll see you next time on Love Jones.